6 p.m. Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Shazia Rahman. First, the headlines. Prime Minister has highlighted urgency to expand Pakistan's forest cover to mitigate adverse impacts of climate change. Information Minister says negotiations with the IMF are progressing positively. All parties Hurriyat Conference chairman has called upon the United Nations to resolve Kashmir dispute by implementing its resolutions. The United States has expressed concern over India's controversial Citizenship Amendment Act. Israeli forces martyred 149 Palestinians in indiscriminate attack in Gaza during the last 24 hours. In the first eliminator of Pakistan Super League, Islamabad United will face Quetta Gladiators at Karachi tonight. And now, the news in detail. Prime Minister Mohammad Shehbaz Sharif launched spring plantation campaign by planting a sapling in Islamabad today. Speaking on the occasion, the Prime Minister highlighted urgency to expand Pakistan's forest cover, currently at a mere 5% of the total area, to mitigate climate risks. He said Pakistan has been facing the hazardous impacts of climate change. The Prime Minister said the government had set a target of planting 240 million saplings last year, which is now being doubled. He said it is crucial to create awareness about the climate change risks at all levels, including educational institutions, to save country from climate change risks. Minister for Information and Broadcasting Ataullah Taher has said that negotiations with the IMF are progressing positively. Addressing a news conference in Islamabad today, he highlighted the constructive influence these discussions are having on the stock market and investor confidence. The Prime Minister, however, regretted that the PTI is bent upon sabotaging the IMF deal. He said the party's handful of supporters held a protest outside the building of the IMF and the World Bank in the US, demanding the deal not to be struck with Pakistan. Ataullah Taher said it is the vision of the Prime Minister to work tirelessly to steer the country out of challenges. He said the Prime Minister has given a comprehensive agenda for economic reforms, which envisages restructuring of FBR and enhancing the tax collection, as well as reducing the government expenditure. Planning Minister Ahsan Iqbal has said census data can be used for future planning to improve governance, promote business, and strengthen economy. Addressing a news conference after visiting Pakistan Bureau of Statistics in Islamabad today, he said a data fest will be organized in May this year, enabling various stakeholders, including federal and provincial governments, to use the census data effectively. The National Assembly today passed a resolution categorically condemning Israeli war on Palestinians. The resolution, moved by Shazia Mari, denounced continued Israeli aggression, which has led to the loss of over 31,000 lives of Palestinians since October last year. The resolution called upon federal government to play a more proactive role in pushing the international community to enforce a ceasefire in Gaza. Nomination papers for Senate elections on 48 vacant seats can be filed till tomorrow. According to Election Commission of Pakistan, polling will be held on 2nd of next month. The 19th of this month has been fixed for the scrutiny of nomination papers. Revised lists of the candidates will be issued on 26th of this month, whilst candidates can withdraw their nomination papers by 27th of this month. President Asif Ali Zardari arrived at Gari Khuda Bakhsh Bhutto in Larkana today, where he offered Fatiha at the mausoleum of Shaheed Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, Shaheed Benazir Bhutto, and others. Speaking on the occasion, he vowed to follow the footprints of Shaheed Benazir Bhutto by working for welfare of people. Foreign Office spokesperson Mumtaz Zahra Baloch has rejected the news circulating on media regarding the visit of International Atomic Energy Agency delegation to Pakistan. In response to media queries, she said any stories regarding the visit of high-level IAEA delegation to Pakistan are fake. This is Radio Pakistan. Pakistan Railways has set a record with the longest and heaviest freight train run in its history. According to spokesperson, the freight train, stretching over 2,500 feet and comprising 50 coaches, was propelled by the robust GF-U40 locomotive engine. Departing from Karachi, the train carried over 3,000 tons of cargo to Kotri. The initiative will not only reduce load on road traffic but also contribute to environmental preservation by minimizing pollution. The Central Development Working Party at a meeting in Islamabad today approved 2 development projects worth 7.87 billion rupees. These projects are related to construction of 220 kilowatt transmission line along with second circuit stringing of 132 kilowatt transmission line from Jiwani to Gwadar and physical planning and housing sector, namely gravity-based safe drinking water supply system in Havelian Aptabad. Chairman of All Parties Hurriyat Conference Musarrat Alam Butt has called upon the United Nations to resolve the Kashmir dispute by implementing its resolution that guaranteed the Kashmiri people the inalienable right to self-determination. In a message sent from New Delhi's infamous Tihar jail, Musarrat Alam Butt deplored that India has been violating UN resolutions and international humanitarian laws for decades and trying to sabotage and subjugate the Kashmiri people through oppressive tactics. Meanwhile, in a bid to further crush Kashmiris economically, New Delhi has given a go-ahead to railway authorities to expand the railway lines in orchards of IIO-JK. As per the plan, 5 new railway lines crisscross the Kashmir Valley, including a 26-kilometer in the Apple-rich stretch from Avantipura to Shopian. The United States has expressed strong concern over India's controversial Citizenship Amendment Act and said it is monitoring the implementation of this law. At a daily news briefing in New York State Department, spokesperson Matthew Miller said respect for religious freedom and equal treatment under the law for all communities is fundamental in democratic principle. 149 Palestinians were martyred and 300 wounded in unabated Israeli attacks in Gaza during the last 24 hours. The martyrdom toll of Palestinians in Israeli aggression has risen to 31,490 in Gaza since 7th of last year. 21 Palestinians were martyred in attack of Israeli forces on thousands of people waiting for aid in Gaza today. Witnesses said the Israeli forces used helicopters, tanks, and drones to target thousands of people waiting on food trucks. Meanwhile, the United Nations has warned of the threat of famine in Gaza. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas has appointed his longtime economic advisor Mohammad Mustafa as Prime Minister. In a statement announcing the appointment, Mahmoud Abbas asked Mohammad Mustafa to put together plans to reunify administration in the occupied West Bank and Gaza, lead reforms in the government, security services, and economy, and fight corruption. International Day to Combat Islamophobia is being observed today. In his message on the occasion, the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has urged the world leaders to promote mutual respect and understanding, foster social cohesion, and build peaceful, just, and inclusive societies for all. He said the day occurs at a time when we see a rising tide of anti-Muslim hate and bigotry in many parts of the world. The UN Secretary General said institutional discrimination and other barriers are violating the human rights and dignity of Muslims. Russia have begun voting to decide the country's next president. Incumbent 71-year-old President Vladimir Putin is largely expected to secure a 5th term in the office of another 6 years. In the first eliminator of Pakistan Super League, Islamabad United will face Quetta Gladiators in Karachi tonight. The match will start at 9 p.m. And finally, the weather. Mainly dry weather is expected in most parts of the country during the next 12 hours. And that is the end of the news. For more news and analysis, log on to our website, radio.gov.pk, and also watch live video streaming of our bulletin on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.